Hello, my name is Jamie Garcia and I am presenting on a film called Vegucated. This film took 3 meat eaters and took them on a 6-week vegan challenge. The 3 meat eaters were Brian, who's a 27-year-old. At the end of the challenge, he saw a 30-point drop in blood pressure, an 18-point drop in LDL cholesterol, and he lost 25 pounds. LDL cholesterol is the cholesterol in low-density lipoproteins, which is also known as the bad cholesterol. The second participant was Ellen. She was a single mom. She saw a 20-point drop in LDL cholesterol and lost 10 pounds. And the final participant was Tesla, who's a college student. She saw a 26-point drop in LDL cholesterol and a 20-point drop in blood pressure at the end of the challenge. The film presented issues on animal agriculture, which were health, animal cruelty, and effects on the environment. As a background, there are different kinds of plant-based diets. There's a semi-vegetarian, where small amounts of animal flesh are consumed. The pesco-vegetarian, where no animal flesh except for fish is consumed. The lacto-ovo-vegetarian, where no animal flesh is consumed. And the vegan diet, where no animal flesh, eggs, or dairy products are consumed. A study conducted by Epic Oxford in 2002 found that vegans have a lower high blood pressure percentage than people with other diets like lacto-ovo, pesco, or non-vegetarian. In the past 50 years, there has been a steady increase in the world meat production. In order to meet these demands, farms have had to industrialize and turn to factory farming. This has led to issues and concerns over how the animals are treated because they're often kept in small cages or jam-packed with little space that they can't even turn around or lay down. They're also deprived of exercise so that all of their body's energy goes towards producing flesh, eggs, or milk for our consumption. They're fed drugs and hormones to fatten them faster and keep them alive under these extreme conditions. And then they're crowded onto trucks and transported over many miles through all kinds of weather, typically without food or water, and they're sent to the slaughterhouse. There's no national standards for transportation, so it varies from state to state. Once they're at the slaughterhouse, they will have their throats slit, often while they're still conscious, and a lot still remain conscious when they're plunged into the scalding hot water in order to defeather or have their hair removed. Dairy cows are impregnated repeatedly in order to produce the most milk that they can. These practices are legal according to the common farming laws, which state that if it's a common practice in that state, then it's okay and it's legal to do that. Looking at this issue globally, if you see the countries with the highest meat consumption, they tend to be the countries with the highest obesity rates, such as the United States and Australia. The world average meat consumption per person in 2007 was 102.5 pounds. There was a 20-year longitudinal study conducted called the China Study, which found that meat and dairy consumption is linked with diseases such as cancer, heart disease, and diabetes. If you look at this graph, you can see that as the consumption of unrefined plant food in the population goes up, the blue, then there's a decrease in diseases such as heart disease and cancer, which is in red. There are environmental concerns due to this. Producing meat produces more carbon dioxide because of the energy it takes to grow, harvest, transport it to animal farms, operate the farms, transport the animals to the slaughterhouses, operate the slaughterhouses, and then transport the meat. A typical cow consumes an average of 50 gallons of water per day, so it takes a lot of water to feed the animals and for the irrigation. And once all the waste is collected, the fecal matter is stored in huge sewage pits called lagoons, which often run off into lakes and contaminate the water, which is harming the fish, along with overfishing. There has been a steady decrease in the species, and by the year 2050, if the trend continues, about 100% of the species will be in collapse. There are some arguments to this. In order to meet the growing demand for meat, farmers need to industrialize to make their products affordable. It is a big part of our economy. It creates more jobs and makes the more affordable food for people. It's not very realistic for Americans to switch to a vegetarian diet because it's not readily available like a $1 hamburger is. There's also the argument that vegan diets can lack key nutrients found in meat such as protein, calcium, vitamin D, and vitamin B12. And if you're still concerned about how the animals are treated, there are free-range and organic animal products available, although they are more expensive. And there's also the counter-argument that free-range isn't much better because, for example, for a bird, that just means that they get 3 square feet per bird, and they're still treated with the same conditions as the other farms. Some potential solutions presented were that if everyone adopted a vegetarian diet, our current food production could feed 10 billion people. And that is significant because the less developed countries have a higher population growth rate. And as a country develops, their meat consumption also increases. So it's important to be able to have enough food for everyone. And another solution is to raise awareness and change the laws in place that dictate how our food is produced. Here is a quote by Albert Einstein. He said, "Nothing will benefit human health and increase chances for survival of life on Earth as much as the evolution to a vegetarian diet." Overall, I thought the film was credible because the organization that produced Vegucated, called Kind Green Planet, is a non-profit animal and environmental protection organization. The information presented also matches the information from third parties, and the purpose of the film was to inform people on the effects of consuming meat and dairy products in an effort to persuade people to decrease their consumption. Here are my references. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Thank you.